Okay, guys, good morning. Liz Hansen here. Let me know if you can see me and hear me. The interesting thing is, I think you can see me, but not Jessica, which is unfortunate. We've had a little bit of a technical glitch, but the great thing is you're still gonna be able to hear Jessica, right? Say hi, Jessica.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
And we are going to be posting the video of Jessica so that you can see and hear her in a little bit. We're so glad that she's here. Thanks for coming, Jessica. Thanks for joining
Thank
us this
you.
morning.
Thank you so much for having me, Liz.
So this Live with Liz series, the whole point of this is to highlight local empowered women and to hear about how we as women can fulfill our missions in life and to reach our goals. So we're excited to have Jessica here to talk about the importance of community in building a business. So first off, Jessica, just tell us a little bit about what it is that you do and how you got started doing it.
Absolutely. So, right now, I am a sustainable growth strategist for small businesses. I help them create business plans that incorporate multiple tactics to ensure that they have a cohesive, comprehensive roadmap for marketing their businesses and connecting with their communities. The way that I got started on
I love
this,
that
oh,
you work with small businesses.
yes, that is my passion.
So it's so interesting. I run a small business, and sometimes I run into this problem where the solution that I want or need is for bigger businesses
Yes.
or for someone even tinier than me, like just getting started. Like finding people who want to work with businesses who are like up and running but aren't huge is sometimes like a weird black hole, I've noticed.
It can be because sometimes the smaller businesses don't have the budgets that people are after, but I prefer it because I really like connecting with people that are ambitious and have a plan, but they just need some help getting it into action. I don't really want to work with big boards or have to pitch a bunch of people. I kind of know where I'm going and I know where I want to take someone. And if I have one person's buy-in, that's great. We're ready to roll. So small businesses are my sweet spot.
So you help small businesses build community, work on their marketing, and basically get more clients, get more
Yes,
business, get more revenue.
absolutely. Yes.
Awesome.
Um, I'm sorry, repeat.
How did you get into this line of work?
So because I was a small business owner, so my background is in marketing. I've got the degrees on the wall in marketing, but what really taught me how to do what I'm doing is that I owned two small businesses for a combined total of about 15 years. The business that everybody, or if you know of any of my businesses, the one you probably know is Purple Monkey Playroom. I ran that for 12 years, founded it, and sold it this past July. And I did all of my own marketing. I did all of my own strategizing. And after I was doing it for about 3 years, people started finding me just, on the internet and saying, I see what you're doing and I want to do what you do. Can you teach me? And so I learned how to teach people what I was doing and sort of refine my methods. And when I ended up selling the business, I decided this is what I wanted to do full time.
That's great. So tell us, take us back a little bit. Tell us about the Purple Playroom. Tell us what it was, and tell us how you used community to market your business.
Absolutely. So, Purple Monkey Playroom is a drop in play space and birthday party venue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago, right on the border of Logan Square. Um, and right away, I just sort of understood that part of my role of being in a small, tight knit neighborhood was to contribute to that neighborhood and to the neighborhood surrounding it. So we did everything from, any school and even outside the neighborhood too, any school, any nonprofit that asked for our assistance. I couldn't necessarily give cash to anybody, but I could give away playtime. And so we would give gift certificates to every auction, every raffle. For schools right in the neighborhood, for the handful, I would host play dates for their parents, for parents to get to know one another, to help build community. We did street fairs for a bunch of schools. We would bring our staff out, or I was on site a lot of times doing glitter tattoos. So, really visible in the community, doing things that were easily within reach for us that really helped, move the needle for a lot of the fundraising that needed to be done.
I love that. I love small businesses that understand they are part of their community that they're in and want to bring their business to the community and the community to their business. It's such like a good give and take, right?
It's so important because a sustainable business doesn't just extract value from a community, it reinvests. And It should feel organic and it should feel good, but also people see that and they want to support you in turn.
For sure. And I think so often people want to support small businesses over big corporations, but they don't always know how or when
That's
or
right.
available. But as soon as you are in the community, like you said, doing glitter tattoos, you're on all the school auctions, like people, you become top of mind in the community.
You become top of mind and people are like, oh, I know her. They think of you as a friend. That my friend has this business. Let's support this or let's go to this one.
Yeah, it's
So
that
it's
no
it's a
like
really
trust factor.
exactly. It's a give and take and it's wonderful when it's done correctly.
So, talk to me a little bit about building this marketing business that you have now. Tell us the name of it, how you founded it, and what were some of the challenges in getting this new business venture started?
Absolutely. So the name of my new company is MBA Confidant, and it's sort of a play on the fact that I have the degree, but I want to dive in with you. I want to work side by side with you and kind of be your confidant and getting what you're doing either off the ground or moving forward in the way that you envision, but just need a little bit of help with. And I'm only 7 months in. So even though I've been consulting for a really long time, my clientele has always found me. They always knew exactly what they wanted from me. And they just told me, this is what I need. And then I said, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. And now the challenge is communicating what I do to people and figuring out how I can help individuals. So I know what I'm capable of, but not everybody's needs fit into a neat little box. So creating packages, but also being able to tell people, this is what I've got on my website, but we can work on something completely different if this doesn't fill the need.
So, it's basically like if I'm a small business owner and I wish I could talk to an MBA about what I need, I can call you, Jessica.
You can call me. I would love to talk to you.
Okay, so you're helping people with marketing strategy. For people who are watching this and don't really know the difference, what's the difference between marketing and strategy? I hear you say those words, those sound like MBA words. Can you explain a little bit what that means?
Ooh, sorry to use MBA words. Okay, so I actually want to between a strategy and a tactic. So when people say, well, I've tried marketing and it doesn't work, I'll say, okay, what have you done? And they'll say, well, I've posted to Instagram a couple times and nobody pays attention. Okay, so Instagram is a tactic and it can be a really powerful part of an overall strategy. Are you connecting with your community? Are you utilizing brand ambassadors? Are you providing incentives for your clients? There are all sorts of components that go into a well rounded strategy. I call my strategies holistic marketing strategies because they don't just encompass one touch point, they encompass the entire sort of ecosystem of what you can be doing. And then, of course, when I'm working with small business owners, you are one person and you're usually doing all of that work. It's one person and one budget. And so it's prioritizing, which tactics and in what order and, how that's going to look 6 months from now, a year from now, 3 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a small business owner myself, and I have everything you're saying resonates in the sense that you cannot just do like one little thing and be like, it didn't work. It's all, like
Right.
your word out, getting people to know you, like you, and trust you is a multifaceted, multi-month, many touch point project, right?
Yes. And
And
it's a long-term process too. So yes, you will see the needle moving, but it's not a get rich quick type thing. It's marketing is for the long term. It's an investment.
yeah. So like when you were running Purple Monkey Playroom, talk to me a little bit about that. So you wouldn't just do one street fair and be like, we should be booked for the whole year. You wouldn't just give out
Oh,
tattoos and think that, right? Like t talk to me a little bit more about that.
I mean, I tried anything that ever came to mind in terms of marketing tactics. And what was so great is that, I wasn't reporting to a board or anything like that. And so I just threw the spaghetti in the wall at the wall and, whatever stuck, stuck. So street fairs, I wouldn't say that I got business from them. That was just giving back, but there's a lot of visibility like, oh my gosh, I've never heard of Purple Monkey and I live apparently right around the corner. We have to stop in. Or, oh, I met you at the street fest. that you just you make friends with people. People see you at the grocery store. They know who you are. They trust sending their caregivers with their children to your place, or they think of you for a birthday party. But more than that, I invested very early in a lot of digital marketing. I was running Google ads. I was running Facebook ads. This is before, I mean, I started it before even anyone was doing anything on Instagram. And I wasn't afraid to just throw a couple dollars in and see what worked. I spent money on Yelp, but I also did a lot of clever promotions and partnerships. Partnerships were absolutely huge in building my business. And small businesses, if you're not utilizing partnerships and collaborations, you're just missing out on um, a huge way to build trust, credibility, access warm audiences, and do it for very little money.
What does that look like? What does a business partnership look like? I'd love to hear you talk more about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a couple different ways that you can partner and collaborate. So, I think of partnerships as something that's a little bit long term. So, for example, we partnered with some nanny agencies pre-pandemic for drop-off care. So, we worked with Chime and Sitter City. So, I would think of that as a partnership. Whereas collaborations, I anybody and everybody that I met who had a touch point with the same audience that I had or was trying to reach. So my first partnership ever was with Catherine McHenry's Building Blocks Toy Store. I'm trying to think what we did off the bat. I think she had some of her toys on my shelves. And then also I gave her gift certificates, really nice looking gift certificates, cardstock, which looked like Building Blocks was giving a gift um, to their customers, and she would put them in gift bags that she did around the holidays or around some of her promotions. So that's just one example of a really successful collaboration.
If a parent or a caregiver is shopping for a toy, they might also want drop-in care and a birthday party at Purple Monkey, right? So it's the
Correct. It's all the same people.
same people. So if you're listening to this and you're a small business owner, I would love for you to think about like, where are your people also shopping? Where are your people also hanging out? And can you reach them there as well? I'm guessing, Jessica, that an MBA confidant, that's the kind of question you'd be asking a small business owner.
Absolutely. And identifying it for them because sometimes people just, they get stuck. And so I'll do the deep dive. We'll figure out who their target market is, but really beyond, who they think it is. So, yes, parents are clients of Purple Monkey, for example, but what kind of parents? Where do they live? Where do they shop? What do they do? What do they value? So I'll look at what their audience is and then figure out, based on the values of the people that they're trying to reach and the objectives and the dreams of the people they're trying to reach, where are these people? How do we find them and how do we connect with the people that have a touch point with them?
You said earlier that you sometimes have people say to you, like, well, I've tried marketing and it doesn't work. Like, what does I hear that a lot too. What do you think is really behind that? Do you think it's that people haven't tried enough things or given it enough time, or people just don't realize the magnitude of labor required to market a small business? Like, what does that mean to you when someone says, I've tried marketing and it didn't work?
I think it's anxiety around time and money because if you're not looking at it as an investment, you're looking at it as an expense. And people always want to know what is the ROI on this. And I just listened to a presentation yesterday. It was a brilliant presentation on how ROI is incredibly difficult to measure when you're talking about marketing because there are so many touch points before the final sale that it's really hard to figure out what was the tipping point and what were the big things along the way that really moved the needle. And so you have to be willing to give marketing a chance to work. Again, we're so used to instant gratification, and marketing isn't instant gratification, and not everything can be measured. Measurement is important, but sometimes you just have to take a leap and trust that these are methods that do work and can work for you.
I absolutely agree with what you're saying. I have had I'm in like a lot of groups where I talk with other photographers about running a business because I'm a photographer and I run a small business. And they'll say like, "Well, I dumped $500 into this and I didn't get a booking." Or I spent this or I went to this show or I printed up these gift certificates and I didn't get any bookings. But what I think people, small business owners need to look at is that you're playing the long game.
You're
Did
playing the long game.
you make some contacts that will play on down the road? I have people all the time who tell me, listen, I thought about doing a boudoir photo shoot 2 years ago when I first heard about you, but I didn't book because I was scared. But then I saw this video, and then my friend told me this, and then I downloaded this ebook you wrote, and then I finally decided to do it this year. And it sometimes takes a while for people to feel that sense of connection with you before they finally give you money and purchase.
That's right. And the technical term for that is the sales funnel. So, you start people at the top of the funnel and it's just that exposure point, but you have to carry them through the funnel until they trust you, until they're ready. And that does not happen in a day. It doesn't happen in a month. Even if you spend $500 on something worthwhile, you might not see the return on that $500 for a year. So there is that trust element that, that makes people nervous and rightly so. When you're a small business, every dollar is important. And I've been there a lot of times. So I do understand it, but I also know the power of what can happen if you're willing to take some risks. You have to be willing to take some risks for the return.
And those things that you invest in, they start compounding on each other.
That is right. Yes, it's the holistic strategy.
Yeah, so you do the one thing at the top of the funnel and you think, well, it didn't do anything. But then if you do five things at the top of the funnel, those five things will work together more than just if you had just done one.
Correct. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I spoke with somebody the other day who has a problem that I think could be very neatly solved by some digital marketing, Google Ads in particular. And she said, my partner would never spend money on that kind of thing. And I don't try to talk people into things that they're not comfortable with. That's not my job. My job is to just present the information. But my immediate thought is that your partner doesn't understand that this is an investment, that, the money's going to be put in to come out 5 times, 10 times, 15 times larger if it's done correctly.
Yes. And it might not be tomorrow, but it might be in 5 months. Yeah.
Correct.
And that's the thing with marketing. You have to keep doing it so that because 6 months down the road, every day moves, it moves with you, right? So
Right. Right. And marketing should be baked into what you do. It should be baked into your overall business strategy, which is also hard for people to grasp if they don't really understand what the word marketing means. So it's an education process too.
how do you help business owners understand the difference between working in their business and working on their business? So, for example, when you were working at the Purple Monkey Playroom,
Mhm.
were you providing childcare and doing
Um,
and doing marketing at the same time? Like, how do you do both?
so we never provided childcare. So the way that it works is it's a drop-in play place. So parents and caregivers come with their kids and they stay on site. So they're watching the kids. When we did some drop-off care, we had a sitter agency there, and the sitters watched the kids. So when I was on site, which was most of the time in the first, I would say, 6 years, um, I was running the business from the behind the counter while greeting clients. So, I'd open the door for people, I'd make conversation, and then we'd hit a lull at nap time and I would just power in. And, the greatest impetus for me to work on my marketing was an empty space. If I wasn't, filled to capacity one day and I started to get anxious, my immediate question was, okay, what do I need to do to get the word out? Who do I need to reach? And some of my best ideas, came during those moments of anxiety of like, got to get people in the door. What do I do?
Necessity is the mother of invention.
There you
Yeah,
is the
exactly.
mother of invention. Love
And
it.
I'm guessing that business owners who come to you for MBA Confidant are also feeling that necessity, that need.
They're either feeling that need because they've gotten started, and at first things are great because your friends and your family support you as they should, but your friends and your family are not your long-term clients, right? If you don't have a strategy beyond friends and family, you need one. So I get those people that are 6 months in, 8 months in, and they're like, I mean, we're doing okay, but I need more people. Like, I need more people through the door. So I get those clients, and I love to help them because they're still very optimistic about the potential of their business. They just know that now is time to bring all the ideas together with a little bit of help, and they know that they're ready to trust that this process can work for them. The other type of client that I work with are people that have a vision of starting something, really making a new playbook. I'm working with three different women right now who are trying to build businesses around community. People are so lonely right now, and they see that and they want to use their skill set to build communities in different ways. And so I'm actually helping them with business planning with the marketing baked in.
I love that. You strike me, Jessica, as someone that really enjoys being a small business owner.
I
Is that
love it.
true?
Oh
What
my
do you
gosh.
love about it?
I've always known that I was going to own my own business. I didn't know what it was going to be, but even when I was just out of college, I did my MBA. One of my concentrations was in entrepreneurship. I just knew that I wanted to be able to take my ideas and run with them. I wanted control of my schedule. Um, I just didn't love the culture of working for other people. And in the roles that I was in, where I had bosses that sort of saw what I was capable of, if I was given some birth to do it, that's where I thrived. Um, so it was always with a mind to going out on my own. I don't think I thought that I would end up owning a kids' play place, but I circumstances came together, and that was how I started on the road. And then um, consulting, strategizing, that was just the most natural thing. It was the most natural next step for me.
I have to say, if you talked to me 10 years ago, I wouldn't have thought that I would be taking boudoir sexy photos either. So, life takes some interesting twists and turns along the way.
It does. So when people say, "What's your 5-year plan?" I really don't like that question because my 5 years out has never looked how I thought it would 5 years before.
Yeah, I can come up with something, but it's probably not going to resemble the reality that we end up.
Right.
uh, if you could talk to a big group of business owners, which you actually are right now, what are just a few like tips or advice or words of encouragement? What would you say to people right now if they're running a small business?
Don't give up on it. You're probably either just getting started, or if you're not just getting started and you're struggling, think about investing in some outside advice. It's really, really difficult to figure out where to put your dollars, when they're limited because you're new or when they're limited because things aren't going as they should. But sometimes just talking to somebody with an outside perspective who can see things that you can't is it's an irreplaceable thing to do. I mean, you're so close to your offer. We all have blind spots, so reach out. It doesn't have to be to a marketing expert. It could be anything, an HR expert. There are lots of people that have good ideas about how to make your small business thrive.
I love that advice. Some of the best things I did for my business is when I hired people to help me. And sometimes it felt like, can I spend this much money for this person to help me? But then like you said, it's an investment
It's an
in
investment.
business. And when you invest in yourself and when you invest in your business, it's always a good idea.
Yes,
There have been things that I invested in that didn't pay off necessarily on my balance sheet in dollars, but they paid off in knowledge and confidence in myself. And that to me is invaluable. So,
correct.
Jessica, this has been a really good conversation. I feel like I could talk to you all day
I
about
feel the same way.
small business. Um, we have to wrap up, but before we do, I ask everyone on this Live with Liz series to tell me, what does it mean to you to be an empowered woman in today's world?
Yeah, I think what it means is the confidence to lead your life with intention and not obligation. And it's owning your decisions without seeking unnecessary permission, while still valuing collaboration and respect in relationships. And that's hard to do. I'm not always perfect at being empowered all of the time, especially when you're a mom and you have a family and you necessarily have to put people before yourself. But I think that's the goal.
Okay, one more time. It's living your life with intention instead of obligation. That hit me like a ton of bricks, right? I think a lot of times as women, we do a lot of things out of obligation and not.
100%. And again, so, if you're living your life out of obligation, maybe you have small children, right? You can't always be empowered all of the time. There are many times when I have to choose the needs of my family over my giant hopes and dreams. But I think the goal is to not deprioritize yourself unnecessarily, to keep your eye on what you want and what you need, and to allow that to evolve.
I love that. I love that. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to leave Jessica's information in the comments, and as well, I see if you have questions or comments, Jessica's going to come in and see those as well. I'm also going to repost this interview with Jessica's beautiful face. I'm sorry we had a little bit of glitch with the video. I hope you were able to hear her, but we will post the recording and send that out so you guys can all hear about it. If you want to learn more about MBA Confidant, she's going to leave some information for you. If you're a small business owner, you've been wanting to grow, this would be a great way to get started. So,
Thank you so much, Liz.
yeah, we're so glad to have you. I love this community. Thank you, everyone, for participating today and for joining us. And I hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend.